Before we get into the video, I'd like to be transparent that this video idea was recorded last year, and due to my own laziness this video is just now seeing the light of day. What I want to say is that some things I say during this video may be outdated, and because this video was recorded a while ago it doesn't reflect the recent scene. This video does however address 4th gen boy groups. 5th gen boy groups have nothing to do with this video as I quite like them as of right now. Okay, so on to the video. The Yeonjun Discourse. Most of the music charts are girl groups, of course it's because of the good music, but I think male idols have a lot of good songs too.
4세대는 저는 좀 어려운 것 같긴 해요. 그러니까 제가 생각했을 때 뭔가 남돌 분들이 막 아직 좀 주목을 많이 덜 받는 것 같아요. 첫 번째 보면 거의 다 이제 걸그룹 분들 노래 너무 노래가 좋으시지만
맞아요.
남돌 노래 정말 좋은 많다고 생각해요.
그렇죠.
좀 아쉬운 부분들이 있는 것 같아요.
그렇죠.
Yeonjun's statements have caused a lot of squabble and a few people are unhappy, but considering what the actual question was, I think it was a good point of topic. Honestly, a topic that has been a long time coming. In fact, anyone up to date with the current K-pop scene could have seen this coming. Yeonjun's statement was not exactly wrong, and I'm going to explain why I think so. As someone who's been in the scene for a while but now more of a casual listener, I have to admit there was a point in time where I was mostly a heavy boy group stan. From Big Bang to EXO and GOT7 and NCT, those were my go-to groups to listen to. However, around the time 4th gen came around, I noticed a shift and my interest was quickly fading from boy groups. Like I'd give them attention for at least a month and then my interest would fade.
Oh shit.
This has nothing to do with age, by the way. I'm still in my early 20s lol. First I want to touch on concept. Concept is so very important as it really determines your overall sound. From the releases I've heard from both 4th gen boy groups and girl groups, I must say that boy groups seem to be stuck in a particular concept sound-wise. Hair and outfits may change, but overall the music sounds relatively the same. Not only does this not make them stand out, but it's also repetitive. I can't remember the last time a 4th gen boy group at the current top did a concept that wasn't sexy or dark. In a way, I think it's kind of linked to toxic masculinity. In the sense that none of them want to step out of this particular mold that was set for them, because every other boy group is doing it. They feel they don't need to do anything different. Now onto the music. Music-wise, I'm going to be honest, latest boy group releases have just not been that catchy to me. What I mean is, after I personally hear a boy group release, I'm like, oh, that was cool, and pay no mind to revisit it after a first listen. It just doesn't stick, and this also plays into what I've talked about in past videos: replayability. Because the instrumental in boy group songs follows the same formula, it's kinda hard for me to constantly listen to on repeat compared to a song I can just put on and vibe to without having a ton of, I didn't want to say this, but compared to having a ton of noise in my ear. Granted, it's not that the boy group formula work, it's that because it's been replicated so much, you already have a set group of boy groups that will succeed in that particular sound and excel in it, like 80s and Stray Kids and NCT amongst maybe 2 others. All I'm trying to say is we don't need 50 more, it's time for boy groups to get creative.
19 week million a week, 5 shows made 3 million a week. You're now looking at the bestie elite. Too bad you can't go and invest with the I'm bestie elite, too bestie elite.
And of course there are 4th gen boy groups that release good music out there. However, they are simply or just not as popular as other well-known groups. Good example is CIX. Personally, for me, I think CIX is one of the groups with the best discography amongst their peers. But again, lackluster promotions and god-awful management. In this same breath, I want to talk about the boys. Again, I quite like the boys as a group. I want them to do well. Sunwoo biased here. As we all know, the boys are a group that dabbles in and out of their bubbly concepts. I commend them on doing something most boy groups don't want to do. However, like I've said before, there's obviously a clear difference in their bubbly releases then compared to now. Lip gloss was cute, but it wasn't it for me. It didn't exactly give off the same vibe. I think there's an art to pulling off such concepts that the girlies have downpacked. So downpacked that they can switch it up and come right back to bubbly concepts without so much as a hitch. You can clearly see the difference in impact when you compare 1st, 2nd and 3rd gen boy groups compared to 4th gen boy groups. And like I've talked about, survivability. Especially with new 5th gen boy groups coming in. Unfortunately to say, a lot of current 4th gen boy groups' memorability and survivability is looking quite bleak. This is not to be mean, but take for example in future of produce shows, what is the probability that you can see 4th gen boy group songs being covered? Because personally I can count on one hand, and I know exactly which 4th gen boy groups it will be. When upcoming boy groups list their role models, you're going to mostly hear 3rd gen male idols and up, with maybe 1 or 2 male idols from 4th gen sprinkled in. And the likeliness that 4th gen male idols will either be from 80s Stray Kids, TXT or the boys is more than likely to happen. The 4th gen girl group's success has nothing to do with visuals or who's funny or not. And all to do with flexibility, replayability and consistency. It was only a matter of time before the overall repetitiveness of the boy group formula took a toll, and unfortunately it just happened to heavily affect 4th gen boy groups. I think if boy groups really want to make a comeback on the charts, they should really study this data of where everything went wrong, as to not make the same mistakes in the future. Because as it stands now, 4th gen boy group releases are a snooze fest. Anyways, this has been Yeonjun Cutie with their 2 cents no one asked for. What topics do you think I should cover next? Also, don't forget to comment what you think about Yeonjun's statement. Cutie out. And I would like to also announce that my channel will be having some changes brought to it. I really want to discuss a broader range of topics, but I don't want to create a whole new channel for it. I do this channel for fun, so I want to include communities I'm involved in. Therefore, this channel will no longer solely be about K-pop, but also include discussions of my other interests such as anime, reading, and etc. Okay, Djun QT out for real this time.